Greeting of the day, guys. It's me, Sahil Jamadar. Now we continue our reading. As expected, Julian became enormously successful. He achieved everything most people could ever want: a stellar professional reputation with an income in seven figures, a spectacular mansion in a neighborhood favored by celebrities, a private jet, a summer home on a tropical island, and his prized profession, a shiny red Ferrari parked in the center of his driveway. Yet I knew that things were not as idyllic as they appeared on the surface. I observed the signs of implementing doom not because I was so much more precipitate than the others at the firm, but simply because I spent the most of the time with the man. We were always together because we were always at work. Things never seemed to slow down. There was always another blockbuster case on the horizon that was bigger than the last. No amount of preparation was even enough for Julian. What could happen if the judge brought up this question or that question? God forbid. What would happen if our research was less than perfect? What would happen if he was surprised in the middle of the packed courtroom, looking like a deer caught in the glare of an intruding pair of headlights? So we pushed ourselves to the limit, and I got sucked into his little work-centered world as well. There we were, two slaves to the clock, toiling away on the 64th floor of some steel and glass monolith, while most sane people were at home with their families, thinking we had the world by the tail, blinded by an illusory version of success. The more time I spent with Julian, the more I could see that he was driving himself deeper into the ground. It was as if he had some kind of a death wish. Nothing even satisfied him. Eventually, his marriage failed. He no longer spoke with his father, and though he had every material possessions anyone could want, he still had not found whatever it was that he was looking for. It shows emotionally, physically, and spiritually. At 53 years of age, Julian looked as if he was in his late 70s. His face was a mass of wrinkles, a less than glorious tribute to his techno-prisoners approach to life in general and the tremendous stress of his out-of-balance lifestyle in particular. The last night dinner in expensive French restaurants, smoking thick Cuban cigars and drinking cognac after cognac, had left him embarrassingly overweight. He constantly complained that he was sick and tired of being sick and tired. He had lost his sense of humor and never seemed to laugh anymore. Julian's once atheistic nature had been replaced by a deathly somberness. Personally, I think that his life had lost all sense of purpose. Perhaps the saddest thing was that he had also lost his focus in the courtroom, where he could once dazzle all those present with an eloquent and airtight closing argument. He now droned on his floor, rambling about obscure cases that had little or no bearing on the matter before the court, where once he would react gracefully to the objections of opposing counsel, he now displayed a biting sarcasm that severely tested the patience of judges who had earlier viewed him as a legal genius. Simply put, Julian's spark of life had begun to flicker. It wasn't just the strain of his frenetic pace that was marketing him for an early grave. I sensed it went far deeper. It seems to be spiritual things almost every day. He would tell me that he felt no passion for what he was doing and was enveloped by emptiness. Julian said that as a young lawyer, he really loved the law, even though he was initially pushed into it by the social agenda of his family. The law's complexity and intellectual challenges had kept him spellbound and full of energy. Its power to effect social change had inspired and motivated him. Back then, he was more than just some rich kid from Connecticut. He really saw himself as a force for good, an instrument for social improvement who could use his obvious gift to help others. That vision gave his life meaning. It gave him a purpose and it filled his hope. There was even more to Julian's undoing than a rustic connection to what he did for a living. He had suffered some great tragedy before I had joined the firm. Something truly unspeakable had happened to him, according to one of the senior partners, but I couldn't get anyone to open it up about it. Even old man Harding, the notoriously loose-lipped managing partner who spent more time in the bar of the Ritz-Carlton than in his embarrassingly large office, said that he was firm to secrecy. Whatever this deep, dark secret was, I had a suspicion that it in some way was contributing to Julian's downward spiral. Sure, I was curious, but most of all, I wanted to help him. He was not only my mentor, he was my best friend. And then it happened, this massive heart attack that brought the brilliant Julian Mantel back down to the earth and reconnected him to his mortality. Right in the middle of the courtroom number 7 on a Monday morning, the same courtroom where we had won the mother of all murder trials. That's enough for today. We continue our reading, The Mysterious Visitor. Okay, bye. Have a good day.